I'm trying to add sound to this video. Let's see if this works. So we're doing question 3.3, which says Vickers missed his 129th and 130th payment. This forced him to increase his blah, blah, blah. Okay, so give me 5 minutes. Vickers missed his 129th and 130th payments. This forced him to increase his installments to 9,200 Rand per month from the 131st payment. Assuming that the outstanding balance of the 128th payment is 761,000, calculate the value of the final payment, which is less than 9,200, which will amortize his loan. Okay, so you've got to set up your number line, okay, which the question is over 20 years, so it's T240. Okay, we know from the previous question that his balance outstanding after the 128th payment, okay, we told we must assume that that's 761,000. Okay, so his balance outstanding is 761,000 at T128. So okay. Then at T129, he misses a payment, and at T130, he misses a payment, and he starts his payments again at T131. But at T131, because his missed payments and interest has increased, he has to increase his payments to 9,200 Rand per month. And he's going to make these payments of all of that amount, 9,200 Rand, all the way up to T239. Okay. Then he's going to make one final payment, which is less, okay, than 9,200 Rand. He's going to make his final payment at T240. Okay, so we've got to figure out what that final smaller payment is going to be. Right. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go figure out what is the balance outstanding at T239. Okay. Once we've got that, we're going to add 1 month's interest to that outstanding balance because the bank doesn't give that for free. So we add that. Okay, we're going to have to work out, but the first objective is to figure out the balance outstanding at T239. Okay, so the method I always use to figure, there are other methods to figure out balance outstanding. Okay, is I say balance outstanding is equal to amount borrowed with interest minus amount paid back with interest. Okay. Right, so the amount borrowed with interest, we're working from that point T1 to 8 where we knew the outstanding balance was 761,000. Now that's just a lump sum that is going to collect interest. Okay, so to figure out, okay, and it's going to collect interest from T1 to 8 to T239. So the formula we're going to use to figure out that, we're taking everything to the same point on the number line. The amount borrowed with interest is always going to be simply your compound interest formula. So A times 1 plus I to the n, P times 1 plus I to the n. Right. So first of all, n, just one thing you got to be careful of, n is a time in this formula, not number of payments. So the amount of time that the money is collected interest for, to figure out amount of time, it's always going to be equal to simply, the time is going to be equal to the top number minus the bottom number. Because this has been collecting interest for 239 minus 128, okay, which just gives us an answer, okay, of 111. So it collected interest for that lump sum collected interest for 111 months. So that is going to be n in this formula. Okay. So, and don't forget the interest rate. The interest rate was 6.2%, 4% per annum compounded monthly. So 6.24% over 12. So your balance outstanding, okay, at T is going to be equal to the amount borrowed with interest, okay, from 128 to 239 is going to be 761,000. Okay, collects interest at a rate of 6.24% over 12. Okay, and it's in there, collects interest for 111 months. Right. So that's what you borrowed with interest, but the balance outstanding is going to be amount borrowed with interest minus the amount paid back with interest. So what have you been paying back? Well, from T131, you've been paying back regular monthly payments of 9,200 Rand. Okay, and you want to know what those regular payments of 9,200 Rands are worth. So to figure out what regular payments, that's an annuity. Okay, and you're taking it forward, and you want to know what those values are worth. So it's a future value annuity, the amount paid back with interest, which is equal to x, 1 plus I to the n, minus 1 all over I. Okay, so x is 9,200. Okay, but we have to figure in this particular formula, unlike with the compound interest formula, n stands for the number of payments. Okay, and people get confused with that. So with time, it's always equal to just the top minus bottom. But to figure out n, the number of payments for an annuity, okay, it's always equal to the top number where the last payment was made. So your number of payments is, so that was for time, but for number of payments, it's going to be equal to where the last payment took place. In other words, the top minus bottom, and then you're going to add 1. You used that when you did the number of terms in sigma notation. Okay, so it's going to, the last payment took place at 239. So that's going to be 239. Okay, your number of payments is what we're trying to work out. So 239, your bottom payment, okay, is the first payment took place at T131. So 239 minus 131 plus 1. Always don't forget to add the 1 for the number of payments. Okay. And if you work that out, you should get an answer of 109. So in other words, there are 109 payments of 9,200 Rand. So in our annuities formula, okay, we're going to have 109 minus 1. Right. Then all over I, and I is 6.24% over 12. Okay. So now we're going to stick that all into our calculator, and that's going to give us our balance outstanding at immediately after that last payment of at T239. So if we put that into our calculator, we should get a balance outstanding of just quickly work it out. And we should get an answer of 8,679 Rand and 13 cents. So that is what you owe the bank, okay, at that point over here at the end of T239. But the last payment only happens at T240. The bank does nothing for free. So they're going to charge you a month's interest on that balance outstanding. So to figure out that month's interest, okay, we're simply going to use the compound interest formula and apply it for a month. So we're going to be using A is equal to P1 plus I to the N. Apply 1 month's interest. Okay, so your final payment is going to be what you owe them, which is 8,679 Rand and 19 cents. Okay, and 1 month interest, so it's going to be 1 plus 6.24% over 12. Okay, and that's going to be all to the power of 1 month. And we put that in, and we get our final payment, which is equal to 8,724 Rand and 32 cents. Right. Okay, and that is that.